recording is going to be recorded by the training coordinator, and the recording session will be shared. Will be sharing to you after the session, and you will get the everyday's mail project, and corresponding projects will be shared to you. And am I audible to you all, guys?
Yes, Ramesh.
Okay, cool. And so just would like to know your background. So you guys are okay with Mule startup, like do you know what is Anypoint Studio, Mule runtime? What is your basic knowledge about Mule Studio? Just would like to know about that so I can start accordingly. So Krupal, can you please start with you?
I'm not much familiar with Mole, but I know different USBs, data power, and TIPCO,
Okay, cool.
so all those things. But remaining people are the freshers. You need to treat as a need to start from the scratch.
So what about Java? Do they
Uh,
have Java knowledge, background, anything? At least core Java.
little bit, not much.
Okay, that would be fine actually. So I don't say it is mandatory, but it will be definitely an add-on to your any Mule developers, MuleSoft developers. No, why? Because any MuleSoft itself is developed by on top of Java and Spring. No, so if they know about Java, they'll be very good. And obviously ESB, right? So XML, JSON, web services. Um, what is REST? What is SOAP? Basic functional. These can be like a prerequisites for the MuleSoft. What is XML? What is JSON? At least basic knowledge about the REST and SOAP. What are the differences? If we have no core Java, that would be very fantastic. Why? Because I see the what advantages what I see with compared to the any ESB tools, and this MuleSoft is open source, and we can customize the code. So in the worst case, if we couldn't get it something our requirement get it done with out of the box of Anypoint Studio or MuleSoft, we can go ahead and develop anything whatever you want in Java and inject into our Mule projects. So that is the most advantage we have. So at the worst cases, we may need to depend on the Java. So that's why I request you guys, if you are and you are freshers, if you have basic knowledge on core Java, please brush it up and get it knowledge on the just core Java only, nothing much, like collection framework, just the core Java logics and all. That's it. Thank you. So we'll start the session. So we are starting from the day one. In the day one, what we are going to discuss is I'm going to discuss is what all utilities we are required to develop Mule applications, and what all the tools we require to go ahead with each and daily sessions. Okay, and okay, to develop Mule applications, we need two things. One, Anypoint Studio, where we develop our Mule projects. Okay, the second one is Mule Server, where we deploy our Mule applications. Deploy means once you developed the application, you have to deploy it somewhere to make it active, and someone may hit that one. So right, that is what deployment just if you see any web applications also, like if you develop a web application using struts or Spring, what you do is you take that application war file and deploy onto the um, this one Tomcat, right? Tomcat is a server, web server. In the same way, MuleSoft comes with its own server, that is MuleSoft server. Some people call it as a MuleSoft runtime. Okay, runtime and server both are same. So we need that to deploy our applications. Okay, and where do we get our studio and where do we get our runtime? We don't need to pay we don't need to pay for that. Anypoint Studio is freeware, but runtime you get only 30 days trial version. Okay. For every 30 days trial version, it get space. And one more advantage with it is when you are developing your applications, you don't need to depend on the MuleSoft runtime. Why? Because Anypoint Studio comes with its own inbuilt server in the studio itself. Okay, that is what Anypoint Studio. So you can develop applications on your Anypoint Studio, and there itself you can deploy and test it your application. You don't need to go for the explicit Mule server. Okay, so the Anypoint Studio is Anypoint Studio with embedded Mule runtime. Okay, and the other one Mule server is that's only server without Anypoint Studio. That's why they're calling it as a standalone server. Standalone Mule server is standalone Mule runtime is a server without Anypoint Studio. Okay, so here is the link where you can download the latest Anypoint Studio, and latest Anypoint Studio version is 6.1.2, and it comes with a runtime version Mule 3.8.2. Okay, so I'm sharing this URL in chat window to everyone. So this is required. Please, if you don't have, please download it according to your OS, Windows or Mac or Linux. Okay, so please download it and make it work. So this is very prerequisite to practice our sessions on your side. Okay, so once you have this one, if it comes fine, or else you may need to register yourself to giving first name, last name, company name, UPI ID, password and all. Okay, and if you click on this one, you will get a zip file. Okay, I already have with me, so that's why okay, so once you extract that zip file, MuleSoft Anypoint Studio zip file, if you extract this one, you see all these files. Out of these files, please select this one, Anypoint Studio icon, and open it. Okay, we'll have a separate workspace for us. Okay, you can skip these things. You can close this welcome page. Okay, this is completely MuleSoft IDE. Here only we will develop our Mule applications, and we can deploy here itself. Okay, and you will have a couple of perspectives like this. This Mule design perspective, default perspective, where we need to be in this perspective when we are developing MuleSoft applications. This MuleSoft debugger perspective, when you debug your applications, automatically the perspective will get changed to this one. Those things are related to the SVN and all, Java and all. Okay, let me create 1 second. Excuse me. Okay, let me create a project, and we'll discuss about the each and every directory and the framework of the project. And let's we'll discuss about each and every file and importance of that, and we'll see a demo application, and we'll deploy that application in the debug mode also today, and we'll see in the debug mode what we can see, and how powerful and how helpful to us the debugging mode. Okay, we'll see all those things today. So let me create a project. To create a Mule project, click on File, New, Mule project. Okay, here we are going to give a project name. Okay, so whatever demo, say finish. Yeah, and just I'm closing unnecessary windows. Okay, let's discuss about each and every directory and each and every file. This directory, first of all, SRC main app. This directory will contain the all Mule configuration XML files. What is Mule expression configuration files? Mule expression configuration files will contain where we write will contain all Mule code whatever we write to implement some applications. So in these files also we need to write our code and the implementation part and all. Okay. So this is what the expression Mule configuration XML file. The file name is demo.xml. Okay. So this is the view and this file is open over here. If you see this is all white space, we call this a canvas. On the right side we have a window called Mule palette. Mule palette means it contains the all our Mule components. Okay, Mule components like if we develop a flows. Generally in the Mule applications, we develop code in the flows. The flows will be having each and every Mule component and keep on developing in the horizontally like anything. Okay, let's show you that. Let me show you that. Let's take I would like to HTTP. Okay, so drag HTTP. In the ESP world, middleware, we may need to open a lot of channels to the customers or clients. HTTP is one of the channel. In this way, we will be having the JMS, okay, file, database. Some other channels would be there like HL7, EDA. Okay, a lot of channels we may need to expose to the customer according to their requirement and their projects. Okay, so HTTP is one of the channel. We use HTTP for the REST and SOAP. Okay, main ESP develops on web services. Web services means REST on web service, REST and SOAP. These are two. These are only two channels in the ESP. Like this, we have a lot of channels available as we just told, like file and JMS. Okay, database, HL7, EDA. Lot of channels we may need to expose. And this is one channel. HTTP means whenever we are exposing a service to the customer or client, either it can be a REST or a SOAP, we may need a HTTP protocol, and this HTTP connector helps to that one. Okay, in this HTTP only we are going to we are going to define a URL, and we'll provide that URL to the customers. Boss, please hit our services using this URL. This is the URL what the service we are exposing to you. Okay, and how do we define our URL? Okay, we can click this one. Okay, actually one more thing, please just don't worry about this HTTP component what is it. This is just a demo project. We are going to have a separate session on HTTP connector and all. Okay, just I'm telling how the flow will be looks like. Okay, and I'm giving we need to provide a host name, port, and base path. Okay, base path and give Mule. You can give 406 that is also almost equal to host. You can give localhost also straight away. Click OK. base path, and next relative path. Relative path is an extension to your path, your demo. Okay, you can give like this. Okay, and next I can give something like object string. What do we need object string is, I'll tell you everything. I'll tell you in the next session. We're going to discuss about these things. Next, put a logger. In the logger, you can type whatever you want. Request receiver. Okay, and I would like to log whatever request I get from the client as well. So, for example, I'm getting a XML from my client. If I log this before, I'll let my XML get be printed and printed in my console. Okay. Next, I would like to transform my XML to JSON. Okay. So for that, I have a ready-made transformer available in JSON. Okay. And then again, I'm going to log this one. Saying is our transformation. Okay, so like this is the way we develop our applications. Mule, these flows we call it as the mule flows. These are our mule flows. In this mule flows only we have to write our code. Okay, whatever the business logic we want to return for the requirements. Okay, what are the channels like? Okay, we're going to discuss, don't worry about this one. We're going to discuss in the next session. Each and every component we're going to discuss. What is flow? What is the each component? What is the importance? What is the significance of everything we're going to discuss? Just don't worry about it. Just a demo project. And main thing is to put all the files. Okay, so this is what main flow. Yeah, someone has any question?
Oh, sorry to interrupt. If I want a transformation, can I do the transformation here?
Yeah, if you want to do any transformations, you have a lot of transformations available in the MuleSoft. Ready-made transformations are available. You need to drag it and do transformations. Okay, it
Is it
depends on the,
is it
yeah, please.
support is it supports accessibility transformation too?
Yeah, that can also be done. We have a separate accessibility component which is available in the MuleSoft. You can use that for also. So we have different XML to JSON, JSON to XML, DOM to XML, XML to DOM, XML to object, object to XML, JSON to object, object to JSON. A lot of transformations are there. Okay, so we need to use that transformations accordingly. And if you have any complex transformations in your requirement, you may need to go for the data view. What is data view means? You can write your own code also while transforming. Okay, so we're going to discuss all those things. Okay, yeah. So once you drag these flows from palette to canvas, so this is if you see the flow in this file, we have three fields over here. One is message flow, second one is global elements, third one is conflict XML. We are on message flow right now, so we are going to see we are seeing the flows, and the flow contains the components. So whenever you're dragging all these things and placing the backend side, an XML will be generated. Okay, according to your flows and components. So to see that XML, you may need to click on this configuration XML. See this? Exactly there. Applies the HTTP listener and object to string transformer logger, and next XML to JSON and logger. These are the components I have placed in the flow. So whenever I keep on dragging on the backend side, the automatically XML code will be generated. You don't need to write XML code. Okay, it depends on the flows what you are accessing and what you are placing onto the canvas in their flow. Okay, and just for your information, at very earlier versions like 1.x, there was no studio at all. people are used to write the Mule code in XML straight away in the Notepad++ and like that. Okay, and later versions 3.4, 3.5, 3.3x, they came up with a studio. In 3.4 they are calling it as a Mule Studio. In 3.5 they switched it to the Enigma Studio. They started calling it as a Enigma Studio, and they given a provision to the users and developers to do drag and drop, and the XML code will be generated on the backend side. Okay, and next, global elements. What is a global element is we'll discuss in detail, but I'll tell you high level. Uh, Here we create a global configurations. Okay, where we have a common global configurations like HTTP. For HTTP, we created this one, right? We given a host name, port, path, and all. In the same way, for example, for database, we give a database URL, username, password. Okay, these kind of configurations. Okay, JMS, just JMS broker URL, username, password, like this. For the global configurations, we need to keep in the global elements. Just a second, guys. Yeah, guys, sorry. So this is the global configuration where we store our global components, and these global elements will be reused across the application. Okay, that is what we are calling it as a global element and global configurations. And we'll discuss in the next session also. Why? Because we are going to do the same thing for the next session, and we are going to discuss each and every component and global configuration, what is the importance and all. Okay, for now the Mule configuration XML is contains these three parts: Mule flow, okay, XML configuration XML, and global elements. Okay, and we can create as many as XML files we want just to maintain a modularization. Okay, instead of keeping everything into the single flow and a single file, what we'll do is we'll do multiple flows and multiple XML files just for modularization. Why? Because maintenance will be free, and it will be very clear clarity. Okay, next, Mule app.properties file. Mule app.properties file is used to power configurations. Okay, configuration properties. You know, right? Something like you can use DB user is to manager like this. Okay, generally we do not hard code the URLs. Okay, DB username passwords. Okay, any JMS username password. We do not hard code in the code. What generally we do is we get all those configuration details from the properties file. Why? Because the DB username password may get changed. Uh, Depends on your project like often or something, but it gets changed. And URL also depends on requirement. URL make it change. So whenever you want to change all those things, you should not touch the code for these configuration changes. You should come to the properties file and just change over here. If password has been changed, keep it this way. Keep that update in your properties file only. We should not change the code, because if you touch the code again, it gets started all the testing phase and all. Okay, and this is the properties for that. And we can use this DB, use the something like in the code, something like this. Just let's see, to get the value manager. Okay, let's see that also. And Mule deployed our properties. Okay, you don't need to worry about these deployed properties. Why? Because you do not touch this file. This file keep on updating according to your deployment and new files and all. Okay, just for information, if you see this one, configured resources, demo.xml. If you have one more XML file, it will get added to this one, like something else. Okay, so this is the high level Mule main.app. Okay, next Mule main what is it? Folder is this directory is completely allocated to the API kit. API kit means API kit is an feature or a concept which has been introduced from 3.5 version. We use API kit feature to expose a RESTful web services, mainly for that only. Okay, for the RESTful API services, API kit API services, we may need having the APIs like in the format of YAML files, and YAML file may depend on the XSTs, JSON schemas, okay, some XML JSON files and all. So those things will be stored YAML file, including YAML file. Those files will be stored under this directory called SRC main API. Okay, next is SRC main Java. And when we are discussing about the API kit concept and all, we will be seeing this folder and SRC main Java. If you are creating any Java files in your project, so you need to create all those Java files under this directory, creating packages. Under packages, you will be having your classes. Okay, you can, as usual, you can create multiple packages and main resources. SRC main resources to keep your XSJs, okay, some text files, whatever resource you want in your project, you can keep over here. And whatever what are the files you keep in the under resources, it will be get added to the class bar automatically. And log4j currently it has a default XML file is a 4j.xml, which will be what is the log4j we are using in this project, basically logger. It's SRC main user. This folder is early in the version not been existed. They introduced in this folder in this version only. If you want to keep your visitors in, you can keep over here for your web services. If you want to consume or if you want to expose a web service, you can keep your visitors under this directory. And next, if you see these three directories are completely related to your unit testing, like a testing where whatever test case you are writing for your project. You may follow JUnit, you may follow MUnit, whatever you follow. So you need to keep the Java class which are related to your only test cases. You need to keep those Java class over here. If you observe, we have the same thing: SRC main Java, SRC test Java. These Java classes are related to your project functionality. These are the SRC test Java is completely related to your test cases. If you write MUnit test case, MUnit test case files will be created over here. And if you need any properties files or some files, whatever some files if you need for your test cases, you need to store those files under test resources. Okay, and next these two are the libraries. And if you see this Mule server, it is using Mule server libraries, and the current I'm using 3.8.1 enterprise edition. E means enterprise edition. You may see C also, that is community edition. Okay, it depends on the what server you are using in your studio. These two are the binary files we can call it as a binary files. Binary files means, for example, you create some .java files. For every .java file, there will be when you build your application, there will be a .class file will be generated. Those kind of binary files will be generated under the source and target. Okay, and the next file is Mule project.xml. It contains all the details about your project. So for example, what server are you using? Mule server 3.8.1 E you are using, and you have some property in your project, that is DB user manager. Okay, so it tells you about your XML, what your project, what are you using. Okay, so this is the mainly discussing about the just framework about demo, and you can create under main app also. You can create your own package and you keep your XML files up there. You can create as many packages you want to create. You can create. Okay, so before going to deploy this application, do you have any questions, please? No question. Okay, so let's go ahead and deploy this application. the server which is coming from inbuilt of Anyone Studio. Okay, we'll deploy this application and we'll test this one. In the same way, we'll deploy this application in the debug mode and we'll put some breakpoints and see what is how powerful is the debugging mode in MuleSoft. I like it very much actually, the debugging mode. Okay, let's see. Okay, I'm going to deploy this application. So right click on this project, say run as Mule application. Okay, you can see the server logs and all. Okay, if you see this one, my application demo, but deployed, status is deployed. Okay, so let me clear the console. I've cleared the console. So I'm telling you where exactly I deployed now is in the inbuilt server of Anyone Studio. It is not a standalone server. It is inbuilt server of Anyone Studio. Okay, I have deployed it here. Okay, now I would like to trigger my flow or hit my service. Okay, how can I hit it? You can use in multiple ways. Like you can do in multiple ways. Okay, so you can use Postman or else you can use some REST client. You can use a SOAP UI also. I prefer SOAP UI. So if you don't know what is SOAP UI, SOAP UI is a tool testing tool where you can test your SOAP web services and REST web services. Okay, you can create a test case also. You can create some mock services in SOAP UI. You can do a lot of things using SOAP UI, where you cannot do all those things in the Postman REST clients. In the Postman, you can hit only your REST web services, but in the SOAP UI, you can hit both SOAP web service and REST web service. Okay, you can put some test cases, as I told you, right? So you can do a lot of things. Okay, so going forward, we are going to use SOAP UI to hit our services. Okay, so if you see these two things, create SOAP project, create REST project. So if you want to hit your service, REST web service, please click on the REST. It will ask for you to provide the URL. So let's give our URL. So what is our URL? Our host is localhost, port is 8081, mule and demo. Let's give that. So this protocol is mandatory HTTP. Mine is localhost and my port is 8081 slash my path is mule. I given slash. This is what I given here. Localhost 8081 mule base path mule and the relative path is slash demo. Same thing I given. Click on OK. Okay. So this is your space where you can give your body message, where you can set your HTTP method. Okay, query parameters you can see set, and you can see the response here in this space. Okay, it can be XML, JSON, HTML, or as a couple drop message. Okay, so let's give some body message to it our service. I'm expecting XML here, so let's give XML. So you know, right, in the test we'll be having a multiple HTTP methods are there. You can give you can give a get, you can give a post, you can give a put, delete. These four we use very frequently. We have few more are there, but we use very frequently a get, post, put, delete. Okay, and just would like to tell you about the importance of each HTTP method and how or which HTTP method we use it for. For example, if you want to get some details from your service, like from the database or somewhere, if you want to get some details from your application, please use HTTP method get. Okay, and if you want to post some details, for example, take the database one. If you want to insert some records in your database through your applications, okay, please use post and provide your complete information in the post. And if you want to update your database through your applications, okay, use put. And if you want to delete some records in your database through your application, please use delete. So please use the HCV methods according to your functionality and requirement. Okay, so now I would like to use post, and I want to give an XML. So I'm changing the content accordingly. Content type depends on what you are giving. Are you giving a XML? Are you giving a JSON? Or else you're just giving a plain text? What are you going to give? What are you going to give? Okay, it depends on the MIME type and medium type. You can call it content type also. So please use application slash XML. Okay, so here I would like to give a XML. Let me take some XML. So okay, so I have XML which has a employee details of 4 employee details. Copy this one here. Okay. If I hit this service, what I'm doing here in my application, I'm just doing a very basic transformation. Convert that Excel to JSON. Conversion means that's very transformation. Okay, yeah. So your response. What saying is the content you are trying to view cannot be viewed in XML because I'm expecting JSON. So we need to switch to this one JSON. And see this one. See this one. Simply my body message XML got converted into a JSON based on this. So let's go and see in the console. We have placed some loggers, right? We placed one logger is this to request, another one for transformation. Let's see. Request is XML. After transformation, this is a JSON message. Okay, so like this, you can use your SOAP UI to hit your service and get some response back. Okay, this is how we deploy applications. Let's see. Now we'll see the debugging also. Okay, how do we debugging our application? Let's see. Okay, so previously I have used this run as Mule application to deploy our application normally. If I want to debug, if I want to deploy my application in the debugging mode, I should use debug as Mule application. Okay, updates is getting deployed. Yeah, if you see this dialog box, currently I am Mule design perspective. So what is asking to is change the debug in the perspective Mule debug. So I'm saying yes. See this one, the perspective got changed to Mule debug because I'm debugging my application and I'm just writing my Windows. Oh, okay, my application got deployed. Demo got deployed. I'm clearing my console. Okay. Now, as like we can put some breakpoints, okay, to hold the control and see what is the payload, what is the variables I have and all. As like okay, so right now how to put breakpoint? Just wherever you want to put a breakpoint, there please do right click and click on this toggle breakpoint. See this red mark? What does it mean? Is you have breakpoint on it. So whenever you hit a service, the control will hold here. See the dotted line? Dotted line indicates that your control, where is your control right now? Okay, so here is control. Okay, if you want to switch to the next stage, what you need to do is in this debugger, Mule debugger, see this one. In this Mule debugger window, you will have an option say next processor, or you can click on the F6 also. So click on this one. The control come out here. So like this, you can do a batch of 1, 2, 3 like this. And what is the advantage of debugging? Okay, so you can here itself, you can see complete payload here. For example, if you want to see what is the payload, current payload is, just click on this one. So here is your payload XML. Okay, and message processor tells you where is your control. Currently my control is logger. If you do next, my processor is XML to JSON. Okay, if you have an exception, it will tell you the exception details also. Currently there is no exception that made is okay, and these are the message properties that you have in your email message. Inbound properties, okay, flow variables, all properties and system variables, and these are the mule message properties. We'll be having a separate session on that also. Okay, you can see all those inbound properties, all the inbound properties you get from the client. All these are the inbound properties. You can access these things also. Yeah. No worries, timeout has been done because we hold the controller. So if you will first, so payload has been converted to JSON. You can see the payload also. So whatever you're seeing is the current payload at this stage. If you do next, you get a JSON back as a payload. So this is not the debugging mode also. These sessions also we may need to do a couple of times debugging and all, see the values, and you will get practice on this one as well on our daily sessions. Okay, and so this is what I planned for today for the day one. What we discussed is we discussed the framework of the Mule project, a just typical normal Mule project, and we discussed what is Canvas and what is a Mule palette. Mule palette will contain all those things. Whatever Mule component, you need to get it from the Mule palette. And these three parts, Mule message flow, where you will have all these flows components in, and global compression in global elements, and what you do in the front end. In the back end, the XML will be generated. You can see that XML in the context XML, and you can deploy your application in the studio itself in build server. You can do the debugging also. While deploying an application, you need to select the debug as. These are the things here, the basic things we need to know. And please ask me some questions if you have anything for having up. So we will be having around four weeks of sessions. Okay, daily we will be having a 1 hour session. Okay, and we will be sharing the video recording session to you, and the mail projects and so peer projects, whatever you require to do your practice. Okay, you can ask some questions and we can have a separate sometime. Depends on the questions. We spend some time on your clarifications and all. Okay, any questions, Krupal, Chaitanya, Srikanth?
No, nothing from my side. Just Srikanth here.
Me too. It looks straightforward so far.
Okay, that's great, yeah. Okay, so thanks for your time. So we'll meet tomorrow at the same time. Okay, 8 o'clock IST in the morning. Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you guys. Yeah.
Thanks for your time. Bye.
Bye bye. See you tomorrow. Have a nice day.